Welcome to the Walaway. This is Imran Namawala. I was putting off making this video for a couple weeks, obviously because there's a lot of sensitivities around the subject of Kyrie Irving tweeting a link to a particular movie on Amazon. And then the next day, I remember when he was being interviewed or asked questions at a game, post-game conference. I forgot what you call it. It was very ironic, right? And I wasn't going to comment on this, but I've seen that it's finally starting to receive backlash, in my opinion, in the right direction. People asked him that he was promoting a particular film, and it's a film promoting anti-Semitism, and thus he's anti-Semitic, right? And literally, like a light bulb, the first thing that came into my mind was, if he is anti-Semitic for promoting a link, and because he's a celebrity and he's got 1 million followers, let's say, he has to bear more responsibility, wouldn't Amazon then have to bear even more responsibility for having the movie on its platform in the first place? So that was one thing that was ironic to me. The second thing that was ironic, you are guilty because you're promoting A, but we, the ones who are asking you questions, are not guilty because we're promoting the person who promoted A, right? So the hope for me was like, wait, why are you guys even giving more life to this in a video format that's going to be viral, that's going to be shared multiple times? So I thought that was a little interesting, especially given the notion of free speech in this country. Again, I'm not saying that what he said in some of the questions, his answers to some of the questions were the most wise, or if that's the way to go about answering some of those questions. But he shared a link, right? And he shared a link not to some video on the dark web. He shared a link to a video that's available to rent or buy on Amazon, okay? Number two, I personally, again, I don't agree with a lot of his sentiments. I don't agree with some of the things that he says, but I don't think he's anti-Semitic. He started off the response to a lot of those questions by saying, I am Jew. I think he said verbatim, I am Jew. I was expecting him to say I'm Jewish, but he said, I am Jew, something along those lines. And he says, you know, those are my people. That's where my ancestors came from. Very interesting, right? That they would call him anti-Semitic for saying that he's Jewish. I have not watched the documentary, so I don't know what is being touted in that film, nor have I heard anything or anybody specifically make a particular or specific allegation. Nonetheless, I don't think he should be, I don't think those charges of him being anti-Semitic were just or fair, nor do I think that his punishment was just, right? So first, some were calling for him to be suspended. Some said that he should be fined. He should issue a public apology. He issued an apology. After the apology, he got a whole bunch of charges levied against him. I think like $1 million fine. It has to do some sensitivity training and a few other things. It doesn't seem like that precedent is there consistently, right? There's many examples that we can point out, and I'm so happy. Someone who I really enjoy listening to, Jay Williams, actually pointed out a lot of this hypocrisy, and he brought up the NBA's lack of reaction to essentially the slave labor that China is utilizing in the Uyghurs, the ethnic Muslim minority in China, and their lack of response to that situation, and some of the ties to maybe some of the products that these people are forced to make while they're being subjugated to slavery, and just their lack of regard for these people, right? And their very close ties and partnerships with the government of China. So very interesting what things are emphasized and what things are not emphasized. But another good point that a few individuals have brought up was this concept of buck breaking, right? And this concept is referring to something that happened during the time of slavery, where you would take a unruly slave, right? Someone who was more boisterous, loud, unruly, not fit with the right demeanor that the slave master deemed necessary, and they would discipline him, right? They would break him, and they would do that to send a message. So some compared what's happening to Kyrie to that he's, you know, the buck is being broken, right? Again, not saying I agree with a lot of what he says, but at the same time, you know, I don't really think he said anything too overtly wrong. And even if he did, does the punishment fit the crime, right? So not sure what you guys' thoughts are. Definitely wanting to know what your thoughts are in this regard. Just a quick short video, and perhaps we'll make a follow-up soon.